So hey guys, what if Naruto was indeed busy and have Chichi as a slave? So let's start the series. A younger boy waving at a family of monkeys putting down from their region on a tall tree. Morning men. He smiled, try now not to get yourselves in hassle nowadays. This young male owned a mane of gravity-defying, sunny blonde, spiky hair, a couple of cerulean blue eyes, a trio of skinny traces on each cheeks that gave the look of whiskers, a tan pores and skin and a lean but muscular construct garbed in a shape-fitting black, short-sleeved blouse, a couple of blue wristbands and subsequently, a pair of black pants that became secured by means of a darkish blue obi, tucked into a couple of black kung fu shoes, and in the intervening time inside the natural environment known to many of people who live close by as Mt. Pauza he turned into currently strolling along a downward slope with a pair of tuna fishes, 3 times his sizes, striking over each one in every of his shoulders, and speaking approximately problem, I sure went via plenty getting you men, the younger man concept, but in the end, it changed into all well worth it cause now I've got meals that'll last me till supper. Right tasked Naruto. However, as he made a few extra steps, his ears twitched at a loud rumbling, and as he turned his head to the supply of the sound, his eyes widened due to the fact they were observing an incoming car uncomfortably speeding in the direction of him, appearance out. Happily, for the whisker-faced blonde, his reflexes and reaction time were extremely quick, and due to that, he became able to keep away from getting hit by using the automobile by leaping out of its way with a jump. However, lamentably the car, and whoever turned into internal it, weren't as lucky as he changed into and ended up slamming into, due to its uncontrollable moves, a rock, crash and realizing that there was someone in her, the blonde Speedy dropped his fishes on a tender patch of grass before jumping after the oddly formed vehicle to check if the person who become inside changed into okay. But earlier than he made it stated character came out, and as his eyes rested on them, his body froze. Why? Intellectual. Observe, focus extra on the street while you're using Bulma. Properly that become because the character he was looking at changed into a woman who owned a mane of lengthy turquoise hair that was braided in a ponytail, a pair of dark blue eyes, a lightly tanned skin, and an hourglass construct with a pair of perky D-cup breasts, a slim waist, a couple of wide hips, and a pair long legs that became garbed in a totally brief pink get dressed with the call Bulma published on its chest, a couple of pink socks and sooner or later, a pair of blue and white footwear. Holy crap, she's hot. He, the blonde concept, way prettier than some of the ones women who try and hit on Grandpa. At the equal time, after the female eventually met the figure of Naruto, she retreated into her thoughts. Oh my gosh, he is so warm, she swooned. That handsome face, those suitable eyes, and people muscular tissues, oh my, he is any such beefcake. Should this love at the beginning sight? Gosh, I may not need the Dragon Balls to provide my wish of a super boyfriend in spite of everything, fortuitously. For the two of them the blonde, identifying himself as Naruto, cleared his throat and rushed over to the staring female. Are you all right? He asked, snapping the woman who mentally recognized herself as Bulma out of her trance. That was a pretty nasty crash. Oh me? I'm fine, she, Bulma, spoke back. In fact, I have to be asking you that query. I nearly ran over that handsome face, and that hunky bod. Please, Naruto snorted, brushing his hand alongside his sunny blonde locks, and even in case you did hit me, I might have popped out unharmed. If getting hit by way of something like that would kill me, then I were useless years in the past. It's gonna take plenty extra than that to take me out. I'll wager, a blushing Bulma muttered, tucking a strand of hair behind her ear before shaking her head. I imply, should not I at least get you to a physician? I can call the fees, it is no longer an issue for me. Like I said, I am pleasant, Naruto stated, and even if I wasn't, any scientific bills I might also have were given, I'd as a substitute pay them with the cash I've in hand. Oh my, he's humble too. Meanwhile, Bulma retreated again to her mind. If he's unmarried, you'll be without a doubt lucked out with this one Bulma, suitable task. So what is a lady like you doing round these parts? And on the voice of Naruto, Bulma become pulled out, once more, from her wandering thoughts. I imply from how you are dressed, and that vehicle you've got there, you are in all likelihood from the city. This isn't always the city. Are you lost or something? Misplaced? Oh no, in reality some distance from it, Bulma snorted, earlier than accomplishing into the sack on her hip, and pulling out a familiar something that caught Naruto's interest. I am seeking out something that looks as if this, and my search led me up right here. And seeing as you appear to be you are from around here, I have got to ask you would not have seen something like this around close by, would you? Huh, the blonde blinked, earlier than his eyes narrowed as they closely inspected the ball. Kinda looks like the ball Grandpa left me, except mine has 4 stars, so I was right, there may be a Dragon Ball here. And as she stated this, the cheerful Bulma was jumping up and down in excitement, which means I am almost halfway through summoning the Eternal Dragon, and getting my want. Eternal Dragon? Naruto scratched his cheek in confusion. Wish? Oh right, and as she settled down, Bulma backed the Dragon Ball she pulled out back to the sack on her hip she got it from. You probably do not know the legend of the Dragon Balls. Nicely then. Permit me to inform you a story it's sincerely gonna trap your interest. Let's prevent via Grandpa's region before we try this. And after he stated that, Naruto went to retrieve the fish he dropped at the patch of grass nearby. I promised myself I'd eat something before the sun is going out, and it is still out, so... Positive. The lady, in the meantime, grinned, lead the way. With that, after Naruto lifted the fishes over his shoulder, he and Bulma retreated to his grandfather's house with a pleasant air around them, and as they arrived around there, their eyes noticed a well-arranged pile of wooden sitting subsequent to a tree, with nobody status by means of, so this is your region, huh? And as she seemed round, Bulma hummed in notion, kinda small, but I wager it is okay because you live to your very own, I recognize what you suggest. It turned into a peace kushti when I used to stay with Grandpa. Meanwhile, Naruto positioned the fishes he'd caught at the would-he earlier installation, however eventually I got used to it. Oh yeah? Well, I don't think I'm able to get used to dwelling in an area like this. Bulma crossed her fingers underneath her chest. I mean, do not get me incorrect. I like the calm, peaceful surroundings, however I want Era to get loads of essential stuff done. All of us have our preferences. Naruto shrugged. And speaking of preferences, I would want to get back to getting ready lunch. I wouldn't mind gaining knowledge of a little bit greater about you as I try this. If it is okay with you, properly, if you insist, Bulma said, rather shyly, and go back. You'd get to inform me approximately yourself, Kay? And with a nod of settlement, the blue-haired lady started out to inform the blonde a little bit of her existence, making sure to edit a few information to make her self-appearance excellent within the eyes of a person she changed into immensely drawn to, and after the meal turned into organized, eaten, and digested, and after the two let out happy belches with Naruto being complimented on for his exceptional cooking, Bulma decided to do what she promised and, after placing the tone by bringing the 3 Dragon Balls together with Naruto watching as the 3 orange balls supply an eerie glow, while being located subsequent to every different provided explanation for what they absolutely had been, and after she turned into accomplished, Naruto decided make sure he heard matters right. So you're telling me that these are known as Dragon Balls, the spiky-haired, whisker-faced, blonde stated, and on top of the fact that there are at the least 7 of them in total, whilst you carry them collectively, they're capable of granting any one desire you want as long as you summon the mystical dragon living inside it with the right words. Yup, stated Bulma, who turned into nodding unexpectedly in agreement. At least, it is in step with the studies I discovered, and with your Dragon Balls introduced to mine, I've 3, which means I am practically already midway there. You are halfway there? And with narrowed eyes, Naruto stared at the girl in the front of him. Yeah. Well, exactly did I provide you with my Dragon Ball? Reason I do not exactly recollect doing that whilst you went on with it so referred to as magical history. He snatched the 4 celebrity ball from the desk earlier than Bulma could even grasp it. And besides, what is the assure that this stuff's actual anyways? For all this may be a trick someone pulled purpose, they thought it is probably humorous. And what assure do you've got that it is now not? Bulma challenged. I guess neither folks know the answer to that till we acquire all 7 Dragon Balls. And as for the primary component, why now not come with me on this experience? On top of getting to peer the world greater, which I'm sure is something your grandpa would probably need, you may maintain your Dragon Ball until we discover all 7 and summon the everlasting dragon. If it doesn't paintings, you get to maintain the 4 Megastar Ball, and I will preserve the relaxation as some form of a group. What do you are saying? Wager I will see Grandpa looking me to explore the arena a piece to see what it has to provide, Naruto admitted, seeing as even as the animals are fun to hang around with, it does get a chunk lonely occasionally. But if we're being honest, it is something I might rather do by myself, and after I am carried out with my training, and leave out on spending time with a stunningly appropriate, amazingly awesome partner like me? Bulma snorted, sorry buddy, but no cube. Besides, what precisely would you be going out to do on your personal? With me, you get to discover 7 probably mythical items and have something you want granted, if the testimonies are proper. There's also the fact that traveling with an accomplice is way more fun than touring to your very own, she added. Education? I'm quite sure you can retain anything type of education you intend on doing at the ride. Now, not my form of schooling, Naruto answered. If we have been talking about weight education and meditation, then yeah, I may want to do this. But my training is more than that, and I am afraid that until I agree with I'm executed, I do not assume I'm able to depart this region. How about this? Bulma said, not inclined to allow the individual she noticed as a hunk move that easily. If you include me to find the relaxation of the Dragon Balls, you could get one of the 2 wishes the dragon presents. The blonde mused, considering that provide and what it could do for him. Then after a few moments of silence, he got here to a decision. You understand what? I assume you have yourself a deal, Bulma. Candy, Bulma grinned, clasping her arms in excitement. So I bet meaning that we are companions, now huh? Yup. Naruto lowered back Bulma's grin, partners on an undertaking. And, as the two cemented their partnership, they had been unaware that this meeting was one with the potential to form the final results of the universe. In the end, Naruto became able to present up the various matters he wished into a small PC that he wrapped at the north, give up of a purple pole sheath in an orange pole sheath with straps that he wrapped around his body, and over the flowing dark orange vest with an extended backside that is secured with a blue obi which he wore rapidly after he agreed to be Bulma's companion, and after he changed into geared up. He walked out of his grandpa's house to see an eager Bulma searching at what he subsequently got here to recognize Asa, the dragon radar. So, he stated, catching the eye of the female, how far is the following Dragon Ball from here? Bulma stared at Naruto for some time, mentally gushing at how top and funky he seemed. Before she realized she hadn't answered, mentally shook her head, and then pointed the beeping radar to where it confirmed the nearest Dragon Ball, some 100 meters in that route. Then after turning it off, she again the radar to the sack she carried. If we pass now, probably we can make it before sundown, notable. And with a burst of exhilaration, Naruto shot off to the skies in flight like a rocket westward. However, whilst he found out a loss of something, he paused, appeared round, and then right down to see the sight of Bulma looking up at him in surprise. He lowered back to her in flight, and requested, "What is wrong?" "While you," she stammered, "you're flying." "Oh, you suggest this?" The blonde motioned to himself earlier than touchdown on the ground and in the front of his buddy. "I by chance found this lower back when I was a child, and when you consider that my grandpa Gohan confirmed me the way to manage and improve it with my existence power after doing it myself, I have been flying ever, considering the fact that, wait, you imply, your grandpa can try this too?" Meanwhile, from her bodily expression, Bulma looked like she became even greater freaked out than earlier. Then, are you telling me that you men are aliens or something? However, you look so human. And what's this existence strength thing? Is it a few form of special power you human beings have? Is it supposed that will help you to take over our planet less difficult or something? Geez, Bulma, chill out. Naruto rolled his eyes. First of all, you need to understand that Grandpa being able to fly doesn't exactly imply he's an alien, he stated. Heck, even a man like Master Roshi turned into born as human as you are, and he turned into capable of fly once he learned a way to. In fact, I notion you were capable of do it some time back. It really is why I took off like that. I hold forgetting that now not anybody can fly like we will. Okay, so your grandpa, and whoever this grasped Roshi is human, spoke back Bulma, whose eyes narrowed on the blonde. But you never stated you have been. Oh, that is due to the fact I am no longer. Naruto chirped. I don't know in which I am from, but Grandpa found me whilst I used to be a baby, and my pod had simply landed close by his place, until he slept, and didn't wake up. In the future I have been with him, so you do not must worry about me plotting to take over the human race or whatever motive. I'm not like that. He paused, and the motive I look on the whole human is reason I decided to tuck my tail beneath my clothes here, see? Plenty. To the surprise of Bulma, a reddish-brown, monkey-like tail become revealed and twitched in the back of her new pal. That is a... The girl gulped, elevating a shaky finger at Naruto. Is that a... Yup. I conceal it 'cause I don't love it whilst the person grabs it, Naruto stated, ignoring Bulma's panicked expression. It's annoying. And as for the 0.33.1 life electricity? Properly, seeing as my grandpa Gohan and grasped Roshi should use it, and taught me the way to manage mine, humans are capable of the use of it, and it may be used for greater than just flying. And, after the blonde spoke, he introduced his arms to his chest, cupped them some meters far away from every different, and waited patiently earlier than smiling as an orb of orange spiral strength spun into life. For instance, I will try this. Make many other forms of electricity-based totally constructs, create electricity beams, or blasts able to destroying mountains, create clones, form shift, and do many other matters I am but to determine out, he said, and I am quite sure that with the proper sort of training, you could do most of these things to reason in step with my grandpa and Roshi. Existence power is essentially found in any life shape, and despite the fact that yours is not as plenty as mine is, you've got it too, so being able to do what I just stated won't be an impossibility for you. Wow, and as for Bulma? Properly, she couldn't help however be drawn into the light of the orb that the blonde created. You mean I'm able to do that, and all of the stuff you stated if I was able to use this lifestyle's power aspect? She shot a couple of suspicious eyes at Naruto. Wait, for all I recognize you are lying. And that little light trick of yours is probably faux, 'cause I guess I will mirror it with tech, so how do I understand you could surely do all the one's things? Naruto smirked then, instead of verbally replying, made the orange light in his cupped fingers to develop and grow earlier than it flashed exploded in a cloud of smoke which dispersed to reveal unspecific duplicate of the blonde who like its writer smirked, before elevating an index finger, aiming it at a lone tree, and then firing a finger-sized beam of orange light that destroyed it absolutely once it got here in contact. Bulma's jaw dropped in surprise because the clone vanished. So, meanwhile, Naruto looked smug. What changed into that approximately the entire existence power element being faux? And with speed she did not understand she had, Bulma appeared in front of her pal and grabbed his shirt. Teach me, she demanded. Teach me, now. I should do this. Positive, Naruto replied. However, until you are a person who has a career in martial arts, it'll take months with a view to pick up on the basics of ki, and probably even longer to get your reserves to a level that does not leave you exhausted in case you do something as easy as shape moving. And if you recognize nothing approximately the stuff, properly it'll be 2 times as lengthy for you than folks who realize martial arts. And are you sure you are prepared for that sort of difficult work and dedication? That you want to put a preserve on looking for the Dragon Balls till you get sufficient of a grip on energy control? Bulma paused, then she idea cautiously about what the blonde stated. Then after coming to a selection she shook her head. What? Permits put a preserve on that until we gather all 7 Dragon Balls and summon the Eternal Dragon. Heck with him. I'm able to likely wish for a vast quantity of that existence energy element and mastery and control without doing any of that sweaty, difficult paintings. I mean, yeah, sure that would work, Naruto said, as his clone disappeared with a small cloud of smoke. But would not you prefer the delight of properly gaining knowledge of the way to do it than accomplishing the same aim via something like cheating? I'm an inventor and I have important initiatives back home to focus extra on, so I cannot manage to pay for to get distracted too long, Bulma defined, and on that, the tech I paintings on requires a number of hard work and effort to finish, and I might alternatively consciousness my time on that than appearing martial arts. Plus I don't need to get all bulky and sweaty if I do not have to. Talking of which, she hopped into Naruto's fingers, forcing the blonde to carry her bridal fashion. For the reason that you could fly clearly rapid, you're gonna be my journey anymore. She slapped his chest. So handsome, what are you expecting? Up and at 'em to our next Dragon Ball. And, after observing Bulma with a deadpan expression, Naruto took off slowly to the skies earlier than shooting lower back west and hovering towards the subsequent Dragon Ball with the screaming female in his palms. Fortunately, by the time they'd reached their destination, and due to the fact he instructed him the type of effect excessive pitched noises needed to his ears, Bulma had stopped screaming, and when they landed at the seashore of their vacation spot, a small island with a palm tree, a beach chair, a hammock, and a small pink house with the words "Came Residence" published on it with black paint. The woman was off of Naruto's arms, however, before she could pass, the blonde spoke. "You live here?" And as she blinked in confusion, asking why she needed to try this, Naruto walked beyond her. "Round ladies, Master Roshi can get a little handsy, in particular when it comes to appealing younger ladies, so it is better for me to move in on my own." "So what?" Bulma frowned. "He's a pervert?" "I've treated perverts earlier then. How's he gonna be any specific?" "Look, just believe me on this," Naruto said, rolling his eyes. "You are higher off away from him. You are safer out here." Bulma shrugged. "If you say so," and following the words of his journeying associate, he stepped into the residence after starting to the front door, and as he did, in less than a second he was capable of locating its most effective resident, and that turned into, because of the acquainted lecherous giggling he heard, one that became accompanied with the sound of a lady's voice and music, and as he stepped into the dwelling room, wherein he had deduced that the noise became coming from, he closed his eyes and took a deep breath. Earlier than starting them to appear an antique man sitting in front of a TV, laughing lecherously, while his eyes have been glued to the women on the TV doing exercise stretches. "It is a child, paintings it." The vintage guy tittered. "Shake the one's exceptional boobs for exact old," grasped Roshi. "Ugh." And once more, however for exclusive reason, Naruto rolled his eyes, like I need to have predicted something much less. Then he took a deep breath and shouted out, "Good day, Roshi." "Yeah." The old guy, now known as Master Roshi, jumped up in surprise on the shouting earlier. Then he scrambled to his toes and grew to become round to the supply. "What the heck, Naruto? Are you trying to kill me? Most of the people my age would are becoming a heart assault from something like that. You are the best one your age." Antique guy, however, Naruto wasn't too involved, approximately almost killing his old man. And besides, if something small like a shout may want to take you out, you'll had been useless a long term in the past. Children, in recent times, no recognize I let you know, Master Roshi muttered, as he walked as much as the blonde. "So, my boy, what is new? How's your education going? Any progress together with your little Harry scenario?" "Lots, really." Naruto smiled. "I'm capable of not lose my feel of self once I remodel below a full moon, so it is a plus. The meditation advice you gave me returned then absolutely helped me out, old man. Thank you for that. But that is not why I am here." "Oh." And at that, grasped Roshi raised a white eyebrow in interest. "Then why are you here, kiddo? Searching out a sparring in shape? If it's the case, then I am gonna ought to decline your offer, seeing as I'm not as spry as I used to be. As amusing as that would be to have, that still isn't always why I'm right here," Naruto said. "I'm right here 'cause of that little trinket to your neck, this antique aspect?" And Roshi reached for the orange ball, placing off his neck from the necklace he wore. "Why? What do you want it for?" "To begin a set," Naruto replied. "Grandpa had the only with 4 stars on them, and you have the one with 3 stars, so I concept what if they're greater like this accessible? I mean certain I do not know precisely how a lot of these balls I'm able to locate, however I am counting on having an amazing time at the same time as I am traveling around the world seeking out them. Plus who knows? The sector is full of many extraordinary human beings. I should research all forms of new matters from them." "My boy, I wasn't born the day before today," Master Roshi said, after some moments of silence. "I understand you are not telling me the complete truth, so spill it. Why do you actually need this little old relic of mine?" "Here's a better query, however." Naruto crossed his arms over his chest. "Why have not I taken the ball from you yet, while I will try this without you even noticing it?" He stated, "I ought to have performed it while you had been watching your display, however I determined to be well-mannered and ask you first. So right here's the thing, are we gonna maintain playing 20 questions, or are you gonna deliver in and hand that over to me? For that disrespect," and at that Master Roshi frowned, "I'd faster slap you round silly earlier than thinking about handing whatever to you. However, seeing as I do not really want it, I bet you may have it." The vintage master paused. "However, in return, I want you to do something for me. I've a feeling I already understand what this might be." And as he brushed his hands alongside his blonde locks, Naruto sighed. "However, great, I'll humor you. What do I want to do?" And a couple of minutes after Roshi had given his demands, Naruto walked out of the house, an awful lot to the satisfaction of his partner, so? She, the impatient Bulma, requested. Did you get it? Yup, and when he raised the item of hobby, a acquainted orange ball with 3 stars, Bulma's eyes sparkled, the 3-star Dragon Ball, present and accounted for. Oh, Naruto! Bulma gushed, glomping onto the blonde and wrapping herself around him. I really like you. In the meantime, Naruto blinked. I am sorry, the words registered in his mind. What? However, as opposed to answering the blonde Bulma, after she stopped rubbing herself at the surprisingly strong frame which were given a robust response from Naruto that he changed into able to barely incorporate, fortuitously reluctantly pulled away from him, snatched the ball and rubbed it on her cheek lovingly. Oh my! 4 balls and sooner or later, she thankfully hummed, on the fee we are going, there may be a hazard that we might be carried out with this search by tonight, or the following day morning. If we don't run into people too cussed to surrender their Dragon Balls if stated balls do grow to be in a person's possessions, and after correctly suppressing his urges, Naruto folded his palms in the back of his head. Then with my speed, I'm able to see us finishing by means of the following day, latest the day after. He paused. Anyhow, where's the next Dragon Ball? Huh? Bulma blinked. Oh, right. And after accomplishing for the radar in her backpack, she activated it and looked for the subsequent ball until she found what she was seeking out. Yup. She grinned whilst she discovered it. Now not far from here, like eye concept. Come on, accomplice. Allows get a flow on. Then after Bulma jumped on the return of the blonde, mounted her legs and arms around his waist and neck, and pressed her company mounds on the back of Naruto, the two departed from grasped Roshi's island, unminding of the fact that there was an aircraft flying toward it. The following Dragon Ball become positioned in what came about to be a small village, which turned into what Naruto and Bulma had stated as they sooner or later arrived at its entrance. And as the whiskered blonde touched down by means of the gates, Bulma hopped off of him and, together with her companion, walked through and looked around, properly in step with my dragon radar. That is wherein the 5th Dragon Ball is, she, Bulma, mentioned. However, it is so empty. Do human beings even live right here? Yeah, they do, and beside her, Naruto's nostril twitched. If they were not, then my nose wouldn't be selecting up on their scents. They may be probable hiding due to something, or perhaps even someone, properly perhaps if we help them out with something it's miles they are having in trouble with, they'll provide us the Dragon Ball they have got here. And with that, Bulma walked up to the door of a random residence. Now come on, time waits for no one. But, after she knocked sometimes, no one responded. It was a development that added a frown to her face, something she used to the blonde. I thought you said there may be a person here. There's, Naruto answered, and, after inquiring for Bulma to move out of the manor, he knocked on the door. Hi there? And after no one replied, he gently pushed the door open, and walked in. Is absolutely everyone there? In case you're scared about the door, then I did not suggest to break it. Sorry. I can help restoration it in case you need. An axe, however, immediately changed into thrown on the blonde, and before it may hit now, not that it is able to do any damage if it did, Naruto's hand suddenly snapped up and stuck it through its blade. Bulma, in the meantime, dropped at the ground on her ass. What the hell become that? What happened? Someone threw an awl at me, and I stuck it, Naruto replied, looking down on the shocked lady. I guess that means I used to be right and there are human beings right here, he smirked. And here I thought geniuses had been speculated to be smart or something. The voluptuous engineer scowled on the blonde close up, and with a huff, she were given up from the floor. Even geniuses can get surprised. Oh, no. The two were interrupted via a brand new voice. But it is simply as I feared. I should have recognized, and as they traced its source, they discovered themselves searching at an vintage guy with a mane of black hair that was bald in its scalp, a couple of black eyes that were hidden at the back of spectacles, a mustache, and a lanky build that changed into garbed in an orange shirt, a couple of blue jeans overalls, and a couple of brown shoes. He became glaringly scared. Please forgive me, Mr. Oolong. Naruto and Bulma blinked on the call. I recognize I used to be silly to try to assault you, but I might alternatively die than lose my daughter. Oh, please do not take her. I will do anything. Yeah, the blonde scratched his cheek. I assume you have me blended up with a person. My call's Naruto and that is Bulma. It is no longer him, Dad, and at the sound of a brand new voice. The three paused earlier than tracing it to a small lady with a mane of shoulder-period black hair, braided into pigtails, a couple of coal eyes, a mild color of skin, and a slender construct that was garbed in a red blouse with a yellow apron, a couple of pink footwear, and in the end, a pink scarf which a large chook feather was readily protruding of. It's now not Oolong. Finally, the false impression was cleared up, and after apologies were made, Naruto determined to get on with his promise of fixing the door he broke. Bulma, in the meantime, was asking the questions. So who's this Oolong? She puzzled. She was leaning at the wall as Naruto labored. And what is he carried out? It really has made anybody so fearful of him. He is our worst nightmare, the antique guy said, maintaining his daughter in comfort. He's a blackness descending on our village, a monster who treats us like his toys. Huh, Bulma frowned. That horrific? Plenty worse. And after being requested how so through his guests, the antique man persisted. One way or the other, this creature has the energy to alternate into any shape it wants to. People flocked out of their houses and collected by way of the antique man's door by means of this time. No person knows his real identification. We simply recognize he desires our daughters. And that monster has abducted many women from the village already. Bulma and Naruto checked out each other, then again at the old man. And the day gone by, our darkest fears came true. He, the old man, persevered. He wants my daughter, Pachawanta. He plans on marrying her these days. Appears like this Oolong's only a huge bully. And, as he changed into performed with his work, the blonde got up from the ground, clapped his fingers, and grinned brightly. And lucky for you, way to my grandpa, I can deal with bullies. When Oolong comes next time, we are able to lure him precise. So long as I am round, that awful bully's got nowhere to run. Of course, the old man, and people who heard that weren't Bulma, have been shocked at this. Do you even recognize what you're talking approximately, child? He, the vintage man, said, his expression changed into one in all shock. Oolong's dangerous. He can be twice as huge as this house if he desires to be. You do not stand a chance. Yeah? Properly, I wager my pal right here can take him out, Bulma boasted, much to Naruto's embarrassment. And you realize what? I wager it will even be clean, my. The antique man gave Naruto a looking gaze. It truly is some religion your friend has in you. And at that, an idea spark went off in Bulma's thoughts. In truth, let you know what, vintage man. She reached into her backpack, pulled out a very acquainted ball and confirmed it to the antique guy. The folks who had gathered by the door additionally saw the small orange orb. Have you ever visible a ball like this mendacity around somewhere? The vintage man picked the ball, and for as short at the same time as he studied it, atypical. It is very stunning, but I'm afraid I have never visible whatever like this around. Well, I've. The pair, inclusive of all people who heard, turned to the supply of the brand new voice and noticed that it turned into from a vintage female who stood in the front of the accumulated crowd, younger woman. I've the matching one. Bulma clasped her palms in exhilaration. I knew there was one here. She chirped. She then calmed down and asked politely, Can I see it, please? And, because the antique lady reached into her apron to bring out the ball, Bulma's eyes widened in exhilaration. I knew it. She all at once seemed in front of the old female. 1, 2, 3. It is the 6-star ball. She grinned. So, vintage guy, all people, how approximately, in change for that, we're going to get rid of Oolong for you. Get the women returned and get your village to go back to its peaceful nation again? We might be happy to take away that monster, but... The old girl frowned. Isn't always that too big of a task for a female like you? Bulma's eyes gained a glowing glint. Properly, I am a genius, so I'm pretty positive I may want to construct something to take him down, but I may not be the one combating. She thumbed confidently at her partner. But like I said, he's more than able to managing Oolong and another bullies. I can vouch for that, she smirked. Plus, I'm pretty positive you noticed what he did for your door in advance. The old guy blushed. He did see that. I guess I ought to be apologizing for attacking you like that in advance, he, the old man, said. Then he bowed. I am deeply sorry for that motion, and in case you do certainly assist us contend with Oolong, and save the daughters of this village, you may have my and my village's everlasting gratitude. The villagers mimicked the vintage guy, showing the pair their gratitude if the action changed into indeed to be achieved. Now then, Bulma pounded the aspect of her fist into a palm. All we need is a plan for him to take us to his base, and we're correct ahead. I have an idea. The focal point of all was shifted to Naruto, who hadn't spoken for the reason that old man delivered himself. As for Naruto, his attention became directed at Bulma. But I'll need you to trust me if we're gonna make this work. This is not something I am gonna like, Bulma gulped, as all people's gaze turned into refocused returned on her. Is it? Like I stated, Naruto grinned. Simply consider me. I cannot consider I allowed him to do this, Bulma muttered, transferring inside the clothes she turned into force to put on as she stood in the middle of the village. And out within the open, she glanced up on the department of the tree Naruto sat on and yelled, "You better protect me!" With my lifestyles, Naruto declared, I won't let something manifest to you, Bulma. You could trust me on that. That assertion eased Bulma's nerves. Crash. Crash. However, the quaking of the floor below quick brought them again. It is Oolong. A random villager yelled in panic, Run everybody, keep yourselves. Bulma commenced to surely shake at this. Bulma. She stopped. But, and regarded up at the critical face of her spiky-haired friend, I'll defend you with my existence, and that's a promise of a lifetime. Relax, easy for you to say, the engineer gulped. You're no longer the one in my region. Then as she heard the stairs inch closer and closer, Bulma steeled herself. But Naruto's the strongest guy I recognize. He's going to make certain I pop out of this unhurt. Proper? And whilst she saw the upcoming form of what she may want to probably wager as Oolong, her resolve became steeled, prevented Bulma. He promised to guard you with his life, and he hasn't given you a reason no longer to agree with him to do otherwise. Although this just offers more fuel to the truth that my initial want became a stupid concept, I have come for you, my sweetie pie. Naruto well hid himself as he watched Oolong method Bulma. Wait, is which you Pachawanta? You look taller, older and prettier. You're now not Pachawanta, are you? Geez, what gave you that idea? Bulma muttered before she speedy shifted her tone and took a chirpier, greater seductive function. I mean, why accept a person so undeniable when you could have a person as beautiful as me? Lord Oolong, there's no denying it. Oolong agreed in his very booming voice. You're a step up from Pachawanta, and that is a very good component. However, I have already made up my thoughts, he stated. I chose her to be my bride, and I'm standing through that. Why should I do in any other case? Due to the fact I've experienced. Bulma batted her eyelashes, particularly in which it counts, she winked. And the reality which you're reputedly a shapeshifter? I wager that makes things even extra amusing. It failed to take long for Oolong to recognize what she become implying, and he blushed while he did. You're simply all kinds of nasty, aren't you? Then, he smirked. Okay, you have satisfied me. You may be my bride as opposed to her. I without a doubt like my girls with extra oomph in them, and I will inform. It truly is something you virtually got. Happy I inspired you, Lord Oolong. Bulma grinned, happy that her acting turned into operating out splendidly. And via the way, the calls, Bulma. Take into account it, agree with me, I will. Meanwhile, Oolong was surprised that an appealing female turned into so keen to be his female as he generally kidnap, and then smash them. This certainly became a pleasant trait of tempo for him. Now then, allows head lower back to my cottage. I'm very eager to test out the brand new items. The ultimate girls I have are too exhausted to sate my urge for food, and as she nervously followed the large Oolong, Bulma shakingly glanced returned at Naruto, who gave her a reassuring smile. Eventually, as she laid eyes on what Oolong deemed as cottage, and though she was presupposed to be a captive, the genius engineer could not help however set free a whistle hinted with an inspired observe. I have to mention, she changed into standing in the front of the building, now not exactly what I was awaiting while you decided to use the phrase cottage. If you suppose the out-of-doors is excellent, wait till you notice what is in her. Oolong boasted. Now hold shifting. I'd like to test out the brand new merchandise before dinner. That is a long way enough. Naruto's voice made Bulma cheer and Oolong's large length swirled round. The two noticed the blonde status a few ft far away from them with a look of seriousness on his face. Excellent work, Bulma. You could take cowl. I will take it from here. The engineer did just that. Oolong overlooked her whilst she rushed far from him, as he should always find her later, specifically due to the fact that she bumped into his residence and zeroed his interest at the blonde man with the shapeshifter. Blinked. Is that a tail? Oolong laughed at that. Properly. Look what we have right here. A touch monkey freak who thinks he can take me on. Oh, I don't assume I can take you on. Naruto flicked his wrist and grabbed the electricity pole, that changed into now 7 inches tall, that slid out of his sleeve. I realize I can take you on, and FYI, I can be a monkey-tailed freak. Then he aimed the weapon which belonged to his full peak at his new opponent. However, as a minimum I am not a freak who kidnaps helpless ladies towards their will for some form of sick myth. And what are you gonna do about it, huh? Oolong sneered. I'm a shapeshifter. I can grow to be something, or anybody I want. He demonstrates his words by using transforming right into a bat, a large ox, a robotic and ultimately, and specific reproduction of the blonde. You're outgunned, Blondie. You'd assume that, Naruto retorts, settling right into a preventing stance. But I can assure you, it is a ways from the fact.